Hey everybody, it's your boy Jerome. I am coming to you today with the review for the Real Housewives of Potomac Season 3, Episode 17, titled Revoir Drama. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Alright, so this episode kind of picks up where it left off last week, was with the conversation between Gizelle and Monique. And just like with last week's episode, Monique is once again saying that, with the whole Kendall thing, it wasn't her idea to bring Kendall around to the group and all that kind of stuff. She's once again saying that, this was all Charisse because Charisse was not over the whole thing with the fireman thing and, basically just the fireman situation with Gizelle. So that was why Charisse came up with that idea to bring Kendall around. Now, my thing with Monique is, I get what you're saying, but Charisse didn't twist your arm to bring Kendall to your events and stuff like that. So I mean, I get that you're saying, hey, it was Charisse's idea originally, but Charisse is not the one that made you film with that girl that first time you filmed with her, and then inviting her to your event and all that kind of stuff. So that's just how I feel about that. So they finally eventually just get to the point where they say, it is what it is, and they just gonna move forward with each other. But again, like I said, Charisse didn't twist your arm in order for and tell you that you had to film with Kendall. So I'm not really 100% on Monique's side with that one. All right, y'all. So this episode basically opened up with where it ended last week, and that was with Gizelle and Monique having breakfast and talking about the Kendall situation. So basically, again, Monique is just saying that, when it came down to the whole Kendall situation, this was not her idea. It was all Charisse's idea. And I'm not 100% here for Monique trying to place the blame solely on Charisse, because you are a willing participant in this. So it's not like Charisse said, hey, you have to film with Kendall in order to get back at Gizelle. That's not the case. And then, with her explaining the situation, that the reason why Charisse did this whole thing was because Charisse was not completely 100% over the comment that Gizelle made on Watch What Happens Live with Andy about, Charisse's relationship with the fireman and, Eddie's relationship with his, quote, supposed girlfriend. So, again, Charisse did not force her to film with Kendall. So I'm not really on Monique's side at all. Do I think Monique was wrong? Not really, because Gizelle had done so much shit to her season 2 that, if I got a chance to get back at you, then I'm going to take that. But then also, my whole thing is, last season's reunion, it was like a year or so that they filmed that from when they actually were filming the show. So by the time that reunion happened last year, Monique and Gizelle had gotten on better terms with each other. So it is a little weird to hear that, but whatever. So they eventually get to the point where they just say, let bygones be bygones and move on from it. And then Gizelle asks Monique what are the day's events, and Monique tells her that the day's event is that they are going to go to a winery, and they agree to that, and Gizelle leaves. And once Gizelle leaves, Monique calls Chris. And Chris is talking about how he is ready for Monique to come back home, and Monique is saying that she's ready to come back home as well. So that's it for that. Right. And then we get the girls going to the winery. They all hop in the same van together, and the trip there was really good. No arguments, no fights, no nothing. They all got along very well. Candace in the front seat, and she asked them, do they want her to sing? They said no, which I died laughing when they said no. It was funny as shit. So they get to the winery, they get a tour of the winery and all that kind of stuff. And then, Gizelle asked the guy that was giving them the tour, how do you say drunk in French? He told him how to say drunk in French. And he also told him that's not elegant, which it ain't elegant for a woman to be drunk in public. But I mean, you at a winery, but you don't get drunk at a winery, but you do get a little bit buzzed and all that kind of stuff. So I was here for that. And then, like I said, he gave them a tour of the winery and all that kind of stuff. And then he walks them out on a patio or so, and has food there for them. And then Karen is talking about she'll serve him because that's why she's been married for 21 years, because she serves her husband. And then Gizelle and Ashley, like, they really got on my fucking nerves this episode, and particularly Ashley really got on my nerves this episode. But Giselle and Ashley in this scene got on my fucking nerves because they again want to bring up the fact that Karen does not have her wedding ring on. Like, first of all, why does that bother you so much that Karen doesn't have her wedding ring on? Giselle, you ain't married, so don't worry about it. And Ashley, like, you're married. Worry about your relationship and less about Karen's. Like, I don't really understand these women. Like, why are y'all so fixated on Karen? Like, I don't get that shit. It's stupid, it's childish, and it's petty. Like, grow up and get over your fucking self. Like, all right. And then you also had them somehow bring up the Charisse, Monique, and Giselle situation. So Charisse's whole thing was she felt like she was thrown under the bus by Monique. And, you know, Monique feels like it was a collective thing. It was 50-50 because, you know, she had her little issue with Giselle and Charisse wasn't completely 100% over the situation that happened with Giselle on Watch What Happens Live. But Charisse made a point to say that she was over it. And, you know, she's basically saying that this wasn't her thing. Like, she didn't invite Kendall to Monique's event and she didn't invite Kendall to Karen's event. They did that. And, you know, Karen agreed with what Charisse said, that, you know, she told him, yeah, you know, these girls had your back and all that kind of stuff, and they told me that that was messy and whatnot, which I was completely here for Karen, saying, hey, yeah, these girls did tell me that that was wrong. And, you know, because like I said earlier with Charisse and Monique, so what that yeah, Charisse may have came up with the idea, but for you to sit here and try to say that it was all her, like, I don't agree with that, because it takes two to tango, and you are a willing participant in this, so you can't really just 100% throw the blame on you know, whatever her name is, Charisse. Like, I don't get that. Like, you willingly filmed with Kendall, so really, what? But, you know, they move on from that. And, you know, Candace is telling them about the conversation that she had with Charisse and Karen about how, you know, the girls perceive her and all this kind of stuff. And she just feels like, you know, the girls only see one side of her, and she doesn't want that with her trying to get to know these girls. And I'm like, So here's my thing with that. Like, it's cool that you want to get to know these girls and all, but why the fuck do you care what they think about you? Like, you should be like, well, bitch, do you pay my mama's bills? Because my mama pay my bills, but do you pay her bills? Because she pays, like, don't worry about what these girls say about you. Like, move the fuck on. Like, don't harp on that bullshit. Like, I don't get it. And then you have Ashley and Robin over there taking pictures when Karen is sitting here trying to tell them that Candace just want to have a conversation with them. And I'm like, you two petty ass bitches. Like, why are y'all just, like, Karen is being nice to y'all and trying to have a conversation with y'all so that, not Ashley, but Candace can get out her thoughts and her opinions about everything. And I thought it was rude as fuck. I really did. Like, I thought Ashley and Robin were rude in that whole situation. And, you know, Candace also made a point to say that she's cool with Ashley and Robin, but she feels like when Ashley and Robin are around Giselle, that's when she feels like they have a big problem with her, or they want to judge her or do everything to, you know, judge her, look down on her or whatever. And I actually do see that point where she's making, because it does seem like when Giselle is around, they are completely different people toward her, as different, you know, than when Giselle is not around. So I 100% got where she was coming from in that situation. And so, you know, it is what it is with that one. But Giselle also did make it a point to say that, you know, she did like Candace initially at first, and Bravo showed that clip where she was with them talking about how she like Candace, as opposed to when she first met Monique, she didn't really like her and all that kind of stuff. And, you know, all right, so if you guys notice that if I'm looking down, I'm looking at my notes to make sure that I hit every point that I want to hit. So, you know, Monique, she does apologize to Charisse, which I like that she was big, you know, she could own up to her mistakes and apologize to Charisse. So they all decide that, you know, they all get ready to leave. They get in the van, and out of nowhere, Ashley and Karen start arguing. They argue over money, and then they start arguing about their marriages and stuff. You know, Karen's like, her marriage is an institution and all that kind of stuff. And she's talking about how Ashley seemed like it's fake and all that kind of stuff, which I think we all believe that Ashley's marriage is built on a farce, like Ashley. Now, again, I don't get why Ashley and Giselle are, worried about Karen's marriage. And more specifically, Ashley. Like, girl, why the fuck are you worried about her marriage? Like, explain that to me. Like, go home and worry about the man that you are married to that clearly don't want to have no fucking kids with you. Like, worry about that, Ashley. That's what you need to worry the fuck about, instead of worrying about Karen's marriage. And her and Ray, and talking about, Ray had a conversation with Michael about that he was gonna move to Florida with or without Karen. Karen said that Ray actually said that he's looking for a home in Florida and one in Maryland. So again, why the fuck does that concern you, Ashley? Like, I don't get it. Like, I can't understand why Ashley is so focused on Karen's marriage. Like, do you want to be in Karen's marriage or something like that? Like, I don't understand. Sorry, y'all, I dropped something on the floor. But I really don't understand why Ashley is so fixated and invested in Karen's marriage. And, in this scene, I was really here for Candace, because Candace jumped in and went off on Ashley. Like, I was like, bravo, Candace, bravo. Like, I just didn't get why Ashley was so worried about it. Candace basically told her to suck a dick because, Karen has so much stuff going on in her life. Like, she has her sick parents, raised tax issues and all that kind of stuff. So I was very confused as to why Ashley's worried about everything that's going on in Karen's life. It has nothing to do with you. Like, mind your motherfucking business, Ashley, please. Like, that shit ain't got nothing to do with you. Like I said earlier, go home and worry about that man that does not want to have a baby with you. Like, that's what your focus needs to be on, is Michael and him not want to have no kids. Okay, and then so the next morning you have Candace. She wakes up and she FaceTimes Chris, and she's telling Chris about everything that's going on, how she had the conversation with Ashley, Giselle, and Ashley, Giselle, and Robin. And how she feels like, when they are around Giselle, they're different people, but when they're with her solely, they're friendly with her, they getting to know her and all that kind of stuff. And it's like I said earlier, Candace, why the hell do you give a shit? Like, are they paying your mama's bills? Like, for real, do they pay your mama's bills? Like, if they don't pay her bills, they don't pay your bills. Don't worry about what they think about you. Move the hell on, please. All right, so we move on to day 4. They are on a boat ride. So, Ashley pulls Candace to the side and has a little conversation with Candace. And she's trying to tell Candace that she felt like she was intruding. And I'm thinking to myself, Ashley, pot me kettle, because you've been a hypocrite. Like, you are intruding on things. You intrude in Karen's life. Like, I don't get you. Like, you're intruding in Karen's business and all that kind of stuff. So shut the fuck up and mind your business. And she's talking about her, all her issues with Karen. I'm like, Ashley, get over yourself. Because again, worry about that man that don't want no kids with you. And then on the other end of the boat, you got Giselle, you got Robin, you got Sharice, and you got Karen talking. And once again, Karen does not have on her wedding ring. And once again, Giselle nosy ass wants to know why she doesn't have on her wedding ring. And I'm like, Giselle, that ain't none of your fucking business why that woman don't have on her wedding ring. Are you married to Karen? Like, are y'all in a lesbian relationship that we don't know about? You want to tell us something? But, Karen gives some bullshit ass reason as to why she don't have on her wedding ring. I'm like, Karen, one minute we all standing up for you, and then the next minute you go and do some fuck shit like this. I'm sitting here listening to this story like, Karen, what the fuck are you talking about? So basically, she's talking about somebody getting mugged or something like that. Somebody took her necklace, and she took her ring and stuck it in her hoo-ha. And I'm like, like, your hoo-ha? Do you know what your hoo-ha is? Like, you really had the time to take off your ring and stick it up your cooch. Like, Karen, that is so fucking nasty. Like, but then, even Giselle said, Karen, and they were all like, you had the time to stick it up your hoo-ha? She was like, and when Karen come about, she calls her boobs her hoo-ha. I'm like, Karen, ain't nobody on the face of this earth ever referred to they boobs as a hoo-ha. Your hoo-ha is your vagina. Like, but like I said, one minute you want to stick up for Karen, and then the next minute carrying on some bullshit. Like, what the hell? So once they get off the boat ride, they stop by a little market where they're selling. If Monique don't stop talking about these oils and bullshit, I'ma scream. But they sell oils and herbs and all kind of stuff. And then they go on a hike up a hill. I would not have made it up that fucking hill. I would have passed the hell out. Looking at that hill, I'm like, ooh, Jesus, I would have died. So I really would have died trying to walk up that motherfucking hill. Like, I would have told production, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna stay right here and y'all go up there and I'm just gonna chill down here. Like, it ain't gonna happen. No. Hell nah. Like, I'm in good shape, but I'm not about to walk up no motherfucking hill like that. That hill looked like it went for miles and miles and miles. Absolutely hell no. All right, and then lastly, we had the dinner for Monique's birthday. All the girls are there. They're in costumes, and Giselle comes down and she steps to the side for a few minutes so she can FaceTime one of her daughters who wasn't having a good day and all that kind of stuff. And then you get all the other girls coming down, and they all have they start talking and all that kind of stuff. And Candace brings up how she felt about everything, and she actually apologized for yelling at Ashley in that van. And I'm like, Candace, you don't owe that bitch no apology. Like, she was wrong. Like, call a spade a spade. Ashley was wrong in that situation. So I didn't think that Ashley or anybody deserved, no apologies were needed. Like, you were standing up for what was right. Now, yes, because Monique didn't feel no type of way. Well, she didn't say she felt any type of way. So I didn't feel like anybody was owed an apology in that situation because Ashley was wrong. Ashley should have apologized, but she ain't gonna apologize. And Robin is talking about how she felt like things are it was unfair for her to say that because Giselle is around, she feels like they treat her differently, which it is true. Y'all do treat that girl a little bit differently when Giselle is around. Like, you have to admit that. And like, Robin is like, well, she rides hard for Giselle and she stands up for Giselle and all that kind of stuff. And Giselle's over there in her feelings talking about that's not always the case. And basically she's talking about Sharice, and she brings up this conversation again that she had with Monique. And Sharice's whole thing was she handles Giselle accordingly due to the things that she said and done to her. And Giselle was like, well, I thought we had moved on because you was talking to me about how you wanted me and Sherman to be together and all this kind of stuff. And I'm like, that doesn't still negate what you said about her. Like, she had a right to be in her feelings, so whatever. But they finally moved on from that, and I was happy. Like, stop beating this dead horse with a stick. Like, I'm over it. Like, can we move on from the Kendall situation and let it be done? Dead the situation. So they bring out the birthday cake, and Candace is singing to them, and I'm like, oh my God, I'm so tired of hearing Candace sing at this point. I see what the girls are talking about when it comes to Candace singing, but whatever. And some dancers also came out there, and Robin and Ashley were reenacting the umbrella situation between Robin and Monique. And they apologize to each other and they move on from there. So that was basically the episode. Tell me how you guys feel. Like the video, leave your comments, subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys later.